everybody. I wanted to do a quick little tutorial showing you how to do a belt with surface appearances using Roblox's new 4K textures. Obviously, one of the first things you will need is a belt that has a texture that is of that size. Um, Obviously, most belt makers don't make textures that are 4K, but if you do custom belts like I do, I only ever work in high resolution, so I have plenty of them. But even without a 4K texture, this will still work pretty well. Most textures are high enough resolution that they're still good. Um, so we're going to get started with this one. Just going to show you the quick rundown of it. I'm not going to show you the intricacies of making a texture because that's a whole different beast altogether. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. But I already had this texture made. I'm just going to do some final touches to it pretty much just to make sure it's ready. And we're going to do all the important shit that people don't know how to do. So I'm just going to do some extra small things here and then we're going to get started. These belts will perform considerably better than any other kind of belt that is on the platform, while also maintaining their appearance looking mint as hell. So, first thing first, we're going to get started by making the base shape, which is just going to be the front plate. I'm only going to do the front plate for this video because once you have the front plate, you can do any plate. So we're just going to save this, or actually we're going to take this into Inkscape, just how you would for any other 3D belt. Import this to Inkscape. The settings that I use, I will show you here. I like tweak these as needed, but I always just set optimize up, and I do smooth corners at about 0.6. So it's usually good enough. Tends to work well. So we'll just save that. And we're going to import that into a blank Blender. I'm using Blender 3.6.9, but you can use any version of Blender. I just prefer this one. Import it, set the origin, convert it to a mesh. This is all standard stuff. If you know how to make a belt, you probably know how to do most of this. You do not want to smooth this mesh. Do not use smooth meshes with this. It will cause issues with your texture sometimes. It might not affect it at all, but it's not worth doing. It does not benefit you in any way. So once you have this imported, we can go back to continuing to get my textures ready. I no longer need Inkscape at all. That's literally all you need Inkscape for, is to make one mesh. So from here, we need to make 4 maps. So there's normal map, there's a color map, which is the texture, there's metal map, and there's roughness map. The normal map is the only one that is tricky to make because you need something other than paint on net. The other ones you can make entirely in paint on net. So we're going to start with the color map. The color map is real simple. All you do, take your belt, and whatever your outermost color is, you just want to make sure that is the outside color, so that way the texture of it doesn't look odd on the belt. It just helps keep everything in order. Delete any drop shadow the outside has. All right, this is your color map. So, and make sure you save these as a PNG format for importing to Roblox. So that's your first map done. Really easy, real straightforward. Your second map is going to be your normal map. You're going to want to take this image you just made for your color map and import that into Photopea. You used to be able to do this in Photoshop. Older versions of Photoshop you'll still be able to do this in, but I don't have an old version of Photoshop, and the newer versions got rid of these tools. Photopea still has them though, which is pretty cool. And it's free. So you're going to go ahead and just select your whole image, hit Filter, 3D, Normal Map. Now what that's going to do is that's going to turn the image blue. It takes a bit, so be patient. Sometimes it takes a while. Especially if you're working with higher resolution textures, it can take quite a bit of time. So, it also just might not be working altogether. I've never had this happen before. Just in case. No, not texture dilation. Normal map. So sometimes you might have to redo it. I don't know. Anyway. I always set the blur to at least 1 pixel. You can customize that to your liking, whatever you... shit. Okay, let me try that again. Yeah, so I always set the blur to at least 1 pixel, but you can customize that to your liking. It's mostly preference as to what you prefer. Make sure you hit invert because of how a belt should look. You want this inverted, and then you can just adjust your scale. You may have to tweak this a few times. You may have to preview this in Blender to see how you like it, because it's kind of hard to read how this looks, because this isn't really intelligible until you put it on 3D. But once you're happy with it, just hit OK, and this is your normal map. So you're going to want to just bring this back into PDN and save this. So that's Divine Normal. Now, for the roughness and metal maps, you're going to just take this one again, delete this outside bit, this outer layer, like that. You're going to go to Effects, Stylize, Edge Detect, and you're going to turn up that strength a little bit, and blurring just actually, you adjust the blurring a little bit to your need. Then you're going to want to make this black and white, all black and white with contrast. Then what you're going to want to do is select the black, all of the black, and invert that selection so you're getting all of the white. Make a new layer, and then you're going to outline this with a very thin white outline that is very blurred. You want to make it almost kind of glow. Alright, so from there, actually, I want to do that a little more. A little less blurry. On the wrong layer. Yeah, tweak this to your desire, however you want it to look. It doesn't have to be exact, obviously. Just as nice as you want it to be. Alright, so from here, so this layer is going to be your roughness layer. It's primarily black. So this is going to be your roughness. Because a belt is primarily shiny, you're not going to have a lot of rough spots. This just helps add depth to the texture. You're going to copy this and just invert it. This is going to be your metallic. So now you've created all 4 of your texture maps. It's pretty straightforward. It's not super complicated stuff. Anyone can do this. All right, once you have your texture maps, the next step you're going to do is go into Blender again. Select your mesh, and make sure in the render, in the layout, you have it selected to viewport shading, material view. You're going to do this in shading as well, and UV editing. You want to make sure that is also set that way. So from here, you're going to go to shading and find your object, of course. You're going to make a new material. Just going to make a blank material like this, and you're going to add your textures one by one. So I'll just do 4 textures. You can also just do one and then import the others into Roblox if you want, but I like to preview all of mine. Just kind of picky that way. So, all right. So start with your color map. Now, at first, they're not going to show up correctly. That is okay. We will fix that. So you want your color map to go to your base color. You want your normal map to go to normal, not clear coat normal. You want it to go to normal. It's very important. You want your rough to go to roughness, and you want your metallic to go to metallic. All right, so now all of your textures are mapped. So from here, you have to go to UV editing. You want to make sure you are focused head-on this. I don't know why this is showing the wrong texture. That's okay. You want to go head-on with this, and you want to go to UV, and you want to do project from view. What that's going to do is it's going to project the UV map from what you are looking at. And you're going to scale this to fit your texture over here. You can adjust this by pressing F, or you can use this tools over on the toolbar. You have to use the tools on the toolbar to get it a little more accurate, but it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. What this is doing is just lining up the texture with your plate, and that's going to give you the nice texture mapping. So from here, you can just import this to Roblox. It should import fine. You might have to re-import the textures to Surface Appearance, but it should import perfectly fine. You can put your gems on here if you want to do that, or you can do 3D gems. 3D gems are fine, but they are more performance intensive, but they kind of look better, so it's like trade-off. But the 2D ones look fine as well. There's nothing wrong with them. So just something to keep in mind. Real quick, I'm going to show the process of importing this, though. So you're going to export from Blender as whatever format you choose. It does not matter. FBX is the one I use typically now. Go into Roblox Studio, go to the new importer, and just import that mesh here. It should get the material here, and it usually gets everything, but sometimes it misses out on the normal map, or it misses out on something odd. You can just import that after the fact, though. So just wait for it to import. Does not take very long. Things might take a bit of time to load. That is normal. It happens. Where is my ship? Why? Let's see. I hate the studio update so bad. So yeah, I have some loading difficulties with these in my place. You may experience some troubles, but it sometimes just takes a bit. I'm gonna try to open this at a different place, actually. Yeah, like I said, sometimes it has difficulty importing. Roblox does not like to load things at times. But I mean, we had difficulties with meshes all the time, so this is nothing new, of course, if you've been doing belts for a while. I hate this fucking thing. Yeah, so I don't have good lighting in this place that I just opened, but there you can see it has loaded. So again, I don't know why things don't like to load here in my main place, but hey, what can you do? I'm gonna try one other place because I'd like you to see the nice full visual of it, but Roblox is really trying not to let me. Anyway, that's the main gist of how to do it, though, so you can follow along with that. As for making the belt itself, it's pretty much exactly the same as it always has been. Make your backing plate, put it on the strap, blah, 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 blah. If you know how to make belts and you're interested in this, you probably already know all of that. If you don't already know that, well, sorry, you're not going to learn in this video. Yeah, the lighting here is not good either. Whatever. I don't know why nothing wants to work in my good lighting place. But anyway, it does import, as you can clearly see in this image. This is just not a good place for my lighting, of course, but you can kind of see how it works. Gotta love it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and have fun.